Welcome to The Explainer. Let's talk about something that makes most of us sweat, the job interview. Today, we're going to demystify the whole thing and give you a step-by-step playbook so you can walk into that room with some serious confidence.
We all know that feeling, right? The racing heart, the pressure, it's a lot. But what if you could trade all that stress for a solid game plan? Well, that's exactly what we're going to build today. A strategy to turn that anxiety into your next career win.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll cover the crucial prep work you got to do before the interview. Then, we'll get into how to make a killer first impression. After that, we'll tackle those classic questions that always come up. And finally, we'll unlock the single most powerful technique out there for proving your worth, the STAR method.
Okay, first things first. What happens before the big day? Look, success in an interview, it doesn't just happen when you walk into that room. It starts way before that, with solid preparation. That's what builds the foundation for real, unshakable confidence.
So what does that prep actually look like? Well, it really boils down to three things you just can't skip. Number one, you absolutely have to research the company. Number two, figure out what you're wearing ahead of time. Trust me, it saves you a ton of last-minute panic. And three, rehearse your answers. Not to sound like a robot, but just to get comfortable telling your own story.
And just to show you why that research step is so important, check this out. Oof, you can just feel the opportunity slipping away with an answer like that, right? It just screams, I didn't do my homework and I'm not really invested in this job, just any job.
Instead, here's your how-to guide for doing it right. Dive into their website and really get their mission. Then, pop over to Glassdoor to get the inside scoop from actual employees. A quick search for recent news shows you're current. And hey, always check LinkedIn. You never know when a friendly face can give you an edge.
All right, so you've done your homework. Now let's talk about making that killer impression on the day of. We're going to get into mastering all the stuff you communicate without even saying a single word.
Your body is talking long before you open your mouth. Look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the crossed arms, maybe leaning in a little too much. That can scream defensive. But then look at the other side. Open, natural posture. That's what projects confidence and makes you seem way more approachable.
And beyond posture, here are the basics that honestly a lot of people forget. It's simple stuff. Smile. Make good eye contact. We're not talking about a creepy stare down, just a natural 4 or 5 seconds at a time. Really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. And taking a few notes, it shows you're engaged. And of course, the golden rule, just be honest.
Okay, deep breath. We're heading into the main event, the part that gets everyone nervous, the actual questions. But don't worry, let's break down the strategies for the classics so you're never caught off guard.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and start with the one question everybody hates. You know it's coming, and it can totally feel like a trap. But the key is to have a plan, not to panic.
So, rule number one. Please do not say, I'm a perfectionist or I work too hard. They've heard it a million times and it sounds fake. The best strategy is to be honest about a real but minor weakness, something that isn't a deal breaker for the job, and then immediately talk about what you're doing to improve on it. That shows self-awareness, and that's huge. Now this isn't a trick. This is your moment. They're literally handing you the microphone and saying, sell me. It's an open invitation to connect all the dots for them, so let's make sure your answer really lands.
The secret here is to stop talking in vague terms and start using numbers. Don't just tell them you have sales experience, show them. I exceeded my sales KPIs by 30% last quarter. See? That's concrete proof. It takes your skills and maps them directly to the results they're looking for.
And now we've arrived at what I think is the most powerful tool in your entire interview toolkit. This is your secret weapon, especially for those tough, tell me about a time when questions. So first, you got to understand what you're up against. They're called behavioral questions, and the whole point is they don't want to hear what you would do in a situation. They want to hear a specific story about what you actually did. Why? Because past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. They want proof. And the absolute best way to answer them is with the STAR method. It's a super simple 4-step structure. S is for situation, set the scene. T is for task, what were you supposed to do? A is for action, what specific steps did you take? And R is for result, what was the awesome outcome?
Let's see this in action because it sounds way more complicated than it is. See that? So simple. Situation. The old software was too expensive.
Task: find a new one on a tight deadline. Action: he did the research and managed the data transfer. And the result? A smooth transition, and he finished the quarter 7% ahead of his goals. That framework turns a boring story into a powerful example of your impact.
So, if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. An interview is not a test. It's not an interrogation. It's your stage. It's your chance to be the narrator of your own career story. With all these tools, the prep, the etiquette, the STAR method, you're totally ready. So the only question left is, what story will you tell?